Hi, this is Lawrence Frontera, also known as a punk with toys on Instagram. Today I'm going to go over how to take the original 3.75 figures and replace the O-ring and the screw if needed. And there's a reason why I'm doing this. Most people, I'm assuming, already know how to do this. But, and I'm sure there's a lot of new kids that don't realize, and even the older guys that don't know that you can buy the O-rings and screws off eBay, or I think smalljoes.com. But the only reason I decided to do this was because I did a review on this guy a while back, comparing him to our original figure. Someone pointed out to me that I had to know that he has the wrong waist and the legs. And unfortunately, I was a fool and I didn't realize it. So somewhere down the line when I was a kid, I clearly swapped the legs and everything, who knows why, and the waist, and didn't even realize it. So I did a whole comparison video, and it was more reviewing this guy, but I do like to compare them to the original. And here I am looking like a complete fool because I didn't know this. And of course I didn't know everything. Most of the figures are, the original, but he wasn't. So the other day I was going through, I couldn't figure out who it was, but that something had to be on that CS. So I went through yojo.com to finally figure out that CS was Crankcase. But this is what was crazy, is that I had Backblast, these are his legs. So these are Backblast legs, but that wasn't his crotch. So of course I pull out my Crankcase, and of course he looks fine. Well, the first one that I pulled out, I have 3 of them. The first one that I pulled out was fine, and I really wasn't looking. They all had the right legs. So somewhere along the line, I did notice that, yep, I have 2 crankcases that had the right legs, but different waists, and both Backblast and Flint had the swapped legs along with the waist. So anyway, I figured if I'm gonna change them, might as well just do a quick review or a quick video on how to do it, because I know not everyone knows how to do it. And I know there are little kids that are getting into this that don't realize that you don't have to use rubber bands. You can actually order this stuff off eBay, or I believe smalljoes.com. There's other places. Amazon, you can get them. So anyway, let's quickly do this in real time. We're gonna fix our Flint. And then you guys can go and order your stuff and fix your figures and do what you need to do. Alright, so here we go. You're gonna need a screwdriver, a small Phillips head. I prefer using a bigger handle if possible. You do want to make sure you don't get one that is too thin, or you will strip the screw. Once those screws are stripped, I'm sure there's a way to get it out. I don't know. I've tried drilling them out. I actually have an original Zap that I drilled out, and there's nothing I can do about it. Luckily he stays together, but I'm never planning on selling them. Alright, and you're going to want your bag of O-rings. I actually have a couple bags in here. Like I said, you can order these pretty much anywhere. The last ones I did order, I ordered with like 50 screws. It's in one of these bags. But anyway, you order the screws. Yeah, so these ones have there's screws in there if you want to swap them. I'm not big on swapping the screws. Not really that big of a deal, but if you're going through the process of replacing the figures, sometimes it's just best to throw in new O-rings, especially if they seem a little worn. I have 4 figures here. So I will use this screwdriver, and all you're going to do is slowly turn it to begin so you can feel that it moving, and then just spin it once you know that it's moving. Again, you don't want to strip this. Just kind of bang them. And try and make sure you don't lose the screw like I just lost that one. I'm great at these, aren't I? Good thing I have extra. So here we go. We're just going to pop them open. And there you go. And this is how we end up with the wrong figure. So let's grab the proper legs, which is camouflage legs. Oh, wow, look at that. Shocker. Like this. Oh, hey, look at that. I guess he doesn't have the knee pads. Boots actually look kind of similar. All right. And then we find the proper waist, which is still on this heavy metal. I already removed the screw, so you should open up nice and easy. There we go. And I think this might actually, if you look at that O-ring, that thing is completely stretched out. They loosen. Obviously, you can't make those tighter, so legs aren't going to stay tighter, but you can keep the waist tighter, which will help out a lot. So we're going to get, the O-ring is not really that bad, but again, when you're paying $5 for like 50 of them, or whatever it is, you might as well just replace it. Actually, that O-ring is actually in pretty good shape, to be honest. So, take your new O-ring, wrap it around the hook, tell you what, and then you're gonna find your proper waist, one with camouflage, and then we'll slide that in. Sometimes it's best to take the screwdriver, and pardon me because I'm actually doing this looking through the camera, which is oh so much fun. So there you go. You got your O-ring, waist is on there. Sometimes you can do these standing up. The figures that don't have this neck joint, the original figures that didn't bob up and down, I do find easier normally to put back in. So we'll start with the back. Slide it on like this. Let's make sure his arms go on the proper side. And let me once again say, I do apologize for that video. If you want to watch it, it is on YouTube. It is, again, more about showing the new flint. So, and there you go. So, you accidentally hit it. Now all you can do is take your body, if you're able to get them on here, and just pop it right back on. There you go. I actually have a real flint, so I don't have weapons for him. Find a screw. This screw is actually kind of rusty, so maybe I will go ahead and pop open another screw. I mean, why not? I have like 20 of them or something. And again, they're pretty cheap. Probably should have thought about this before, but hey, doing stuff on the fly is clearly the best. All right. So one thing you can always do is magnetize this if you wanted to. And for the most part, these figures, they'll just kind of drop right into place. You can actually see it there. And just tighten it. You'll feel the tension. Do not over tighten it, because you'll either strip the screw or ruin the figure. But you do want to make sure that you tighten it tight enough, hopefully, that his head, the head will stay nice and tight. And again, that's why I kind of like using this one. You can kind of get a tighter feel, and you can really feel once the tension starts. But again, you just want to make sure you don't over tighten it, because you will either strip the inside of it, the plastic, which then it kind of becomes useless, or strip the screw. And one of the ways to know if it's tight enough is if you squeeze the figure before it's done, you can feel how loose the arms are supposed to be. Now here, no matter how much I squeeze this, his arm is just loose. It's worn out over years of me playing with them. His head still moves properly, so I knew that one was good. So you can quickly do a crankcase here. The crankcase. Let's find the proper legs. So here's a waist for crankcase. Grab another waist. Guess I don't need that. So your crankcase waist and your legs. All right. This O-ring again is actually in really good shape because I did recently replace it. So I'm just gonna leave this one on. Not a big deal. He sits in the mauler anyway. This one I was able to get in, didn't have to grab it. Now this is the other tactic that I tend to use, is that's back last. Just make sure we got the right. All right, is you start here. Get this on here, and then you're just gonna kind of lay the figure down. All right, because they tend to move around this way, and these heads are notorious, in my opinion, at least what I've seen over the years, is they kind of just move around. So, there we go. Get his two arms. You just kind of set them on there. And then you have his body, and sure enough, just slide it on, make sure both arms get in there. Boom. You're good. So there you go. That's the other way to do it. You can see this arm is kind of loose. Probably should have checked to make sure what type of shape he's in, and let's put together the best one that I could. So there you go. That's the other way to do it. All right, so there you have it. How to replace the O-rings on your figures. Now, normally you're going to replace the O-rings because they've snapped, because over time they dry rot, or maybe you have some old figures that were broken, different pieces, crotches break, or you're an idiot like myself and you do a review of a Flint with the wrong legs and don't even realize it. And thank you for someone for pointing that out, because it honestly drove me nuts knowing that my Flint was no longer, wasn't what he was supposed to be. Not so much that I did the video wrong or whatever, but just the fact that, like, oh my God, all these years, it's been like that. So anyway, there you go. Again, Amazon, eBay, you can get them. They're just O-rings. And like I said, I always order the screws too. You know, they usually don't cost more than $10 for a bag of 50 or 100. There's so many of them. And if you see my room and the amount of figures I've even added over the years, I'm probably never going to run out of these. So get yourself some, fix your figures, display them, have fun. Anyway, if you like the video, give me a thumbs up. Again, Punk with Toys on Instagram, and have a great night.